welcome to the new year, 2022. We're already starting with shit fucked up. New Year's Eve had Betty White pass away.
That's right.
I had to immediately post a clip from Lake Placid with her telling someone to suck her dick, because I needed to do that. I feel like that was the kind of memoriam she needed, because she was a sassy broad and funny. And apparently everybody who's ever worked with her had nothing but kind words to say.
Right.
And Jen is going to be late, but we have Gambit here, who had a comic come out recently that he worked on.
Yes, the expired for the exclusive store cover for the expired. The story is called The Collective. I'll get you the address in a second.
I hope everybody had a safe holiday and hopefully very limited COVID exposure. Florida has been a hotspot, you could call. It's a cesspool. It's been bad, especially where Gambit and I live. Like, apparently there was 150,000 cases this week. But that's all right. According to our governor, it's not a problem. It's just the super flu.
A super flu.
Yeah. And we have Adriana, pretty nerdy, our newest member of the panel. We've added someone to the panel every year that's been in existence. I wrote a very nice thing yesterday on Instagram.
I cried a little too.
How was your holiday?
It was great. I picked up my Holy Grail. Santa was good to me.
I saw that.
Yeah, we got some family came and visited us. I love your bookend. Oh my God.
That's beautiful.
My friend Nicole, who I used to be a manager at Barnes & Noble with, went and had these custom made. It's awesome. A very heavy wood. And like, I opened the box, I was just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, I texted her, I was like, just throw out the gift I got you. It's not good enough.
I will never, ever live up to this.
No, like, I opened it, I was just like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. And then I had to tell my cat, like, take him and like shake him at it, going, don't fucking touch these.
Don't do it.
These are not toys. The story's in Altamonte, by the way. Or Altamont. I don't know how you pronounce it here, but
Altamont.
Altamont. Okay, so in Spanish it's Altamonte. So, but yeah, that's what the story is. And this is the cover. Sorry.
The Puerto Rico New Year's Eve on ABC got a lot of talk on Twitter because I guess they cut away from it.
Really?
Yes. People missed out on Daddy Yankee apparently.
Oh
no!
Boo-hoo. This is the Virgin variant of the cover.
Let me zoom in on you. Okay.
Let me show you the other one again. Now that we're zooming. Sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's I haven't read the book yet.
Listen, you worked on it. Isn't that enough?
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. I was on a signing of a book I worked on the other day, and that's pretty cool to say, you know?
That's a great feather in your cap right there.
Yeah, I didn't really. It's weird. The grails I want, I know are out of my reach financially, so like I haven't tried very hard for them. Like, I think the most attainable probably is Spider-Man 121 if I look for it raw. Is the Death of Gwen Stacy's one I've always wanted.
Yeah.
There's some early Swamp Things I think that are kind of attainable, but like Primer #1, the first Grendel, especially with the TV show, I'm never fucking getting near that book. It's too much.
I got this the other day.
Did Santa bring you that?
It's the Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore.
Oh, the Alan Moore
Swamp Thing box set. Yeah.
It's so good. We got a. Oh my God, Justin. No Good Comics. We got him hooked on that after our book club we did with him, and now he's like obsessed with Swamp Thing, the Alan Moore.
Sweet. Yeah, I just got that day that I was signing books.
I know,
was right there, so I said, "Why not? Let me take it." Happy New Year.
It's weird. Like I did help you with build your set for your early Christmas present, so I was happy with that.
Yes.
I got Jen the anatomy lesson graded the issue from Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and I got her a page of J.H. Williams' Batwoman art from Detective Comics.
Oh,
which
sweet.
Is her most favorite comic. I mean, look, I had to afford what was in my price range, so like, it's not the best page, but she owns an original page art from it.
For me, the any original page from a comic book is an original page from a comic book. You know what I mean? It's like
well, there was
a gig is a gig, you know. So
there was the one episode. I asked her, I was like, "What's more important to you, Swamp Thing or Batwoman?" And she was like, "Well, Batwoman." So I was like, "Well, that made the decision because I had a page from Mike Perkins of the Swamp Thing with Rom V lined up to get otherwise." So she got that. She's getting it framed.
Sweet.
I only own like one piece of page art, and it's from my friend who worked for Extreme Studios. It's from Bloodstrike.
I have the last page of Everybody Loves Tank Girl, signed by Jim Mafood. And it says Happy Birthday, Adriana in the corner.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, sweet.
It was like the original page art, but that's the only original page art I have.
So I was trying to vamp a little bit before Jen gets here, but
I have show and tell pieces.
Okay, let's do it.
If you would like to do that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So Wiccan Divine was the second comic book that I did a full run of right after Saga. And it's one of only a couple books that I will have multiple covers for one issue. But I didn't bring out my whole collection because nobody
favorite covers.
That. But I have a couple really cool little things. So I got these on eBay last year.
I'm going to go solo layout for you.
It's from Espionage Cosmetics. They made Wicked and Divine nail wraps. And I had to get them off eBay because I think they made them in like 2014 or something and then never made them again. And then Julian's favorite comic from Image is Sex Criminals.
That's an awesome book.
They did an homage cover to, like, you know, the iconic Wicked and Divine portrait cover that they do. And on the bottom it says, AKA Sex Criminals, neither wicked nor divine.
Nice.
Chip Zdarsky did a variant for, I think it was issue 3 with Kieron Gillen and Jamie McKelvie on the cover.
I have it. If you give me 5 seconds, I'll grab it.
Okay.
I like the Ouija board in your background.
Yeah, the blinking Christmas lights. I'm like,
I like the blink. I like the blinking. Oh my god! Apparently, I don't know how to English.
It's so funny. He has One Direction on his forehead, and then
yes, and then the other one's got the Bowie tat. The Bowie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my show and tell pieces.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that I had not seen that cover until the end of the trade paperback.
Same here. I had never.
When I finished it today, I said, "Oh shit, this is really cool."
It's so funny. I just, like, when I look at it, I see him, and I just think he's like going meow behind his back.
The One Direction, and then the ink on the nose. I'm like, oh my god,
yes, so precious.
Sex Criminals is a book that I definitely want to do on this show at some point.
Absolutely.
And if Julian wants to come on for that, like,
he will.
More than welcome.
He was going to take over for me today. I was so tired. We drove our daughter back she lives like outside of Detroit.
Ooh.
And it's a little over 4 hours there and then 4 hours back. And it was raining or snowing everywhere. We luckily didn't get hit by the snow, but we had to like avoid the snow. So we were just gone all day. I'm dead. I'm drinking coffee instead of beer.
I've always been fascinated by Detroit. The fact they were going to put a statue of RoboCop.
Really?
In downtown. Yes, that was the thing. At one point, I was like, "How fucked up is your city if that's what you're going to make a statue of? Is RoboCop?"
I mean, isn't there a Rocky one somewhere else?
It's in Philadelphia, but for some reason that I can make better sense of than
Yeah.
RoboCop. And I don't know why my mind works that way. I was like, Rocky, I understand. RoboCop, I don't.
Yeah, John Dre picked through my collection while he was visiting. We actually bond very heavily over Wick Div. He sends me like what he needs, and we always have like extras because I find him at half price books all the time. So we've helped each other like fill in our collections.
That's pretty cool.
There was
you
a point
complete
in time
each other.
John Dre, you complete me.
There was a point in time where I wasn't buying Image books for a long time because.
Were you sick?
No, but Image put out some dreck for a long fucking time. Like,
yeah, there's definitely books I can't get behind.
For years, there was bad stuff coming out, like So Tropey, and then like Walking Dead came out during what I'd call a bad time in comics.
A low point.
Yeah, and then Saga came out, and then during some of those, like after that came out, all of a sudden like Wick Div came out, Nailbiter, Rat
and
Queens.
there was Pope again.
There was a bunch of interesting books that all came out around the same time. Like Witches came out, and I kind of like got sucked into like Image, and I was buying everything. Like I even bought some books that I don't think I love that much, but like it was just something new. And then I went on my Remender kick where like everything Remender was putting out, I was buying.
That's me with Mark Miller. Hey, anything that said Mark Miller.
Mark Miller,
like yes.
Southern Bastards by Jason Aaron came out, and like I love that. Was that book.
Good?
I liked it. I mean, I felt like dirty after reading it because it's so scummy.
Okay then. I see him all the time when I'm digging, and I'm like, maybe do I want to start another Image book and just throw it on my read pile and let it sit there?
So the first trade is like $9.99, and I'd say like check that out, and then like determine. Because again, like I felt dirty after reading it because like it's hillbilly meth town in Alabama.
I have the first trade, but I haven't read it yet, which is that now. Remember, I said I wasn't that kick of Mark Miller. Now it's Jason Aaron. I buy Jason Aaron books, like same thing.
So to get to the book at hand,
yes.
Can we talk about, before Jen gets here?
Yes.
Your post about Baphomet looks like who?
It's Andrew Eldritch from Sisters of Mercy.
Okay, so I always thought, someone told me that all of the characters are designed after an actual famous person. So the only one I see, though, is Sekhmet looks like Rihanna.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't figure out.
What the other characters are supposed to look like?
So definitely Lucifer is David Bowie.
Of course.
Ball, I couldn't figure out.
I heard Kanye for Ball, but I don't see it.
That could be because his attitude. Personality wise, yes.
And Gentle Annie looks like a effed up tank girl. Maybe a little Gwen Stefani in there. I don't know.
Amaterasu, I couldn't quite figure out. I didn't go too far into who they were. It's just I happened to have been reading this, and weirdly, Jen and I, when we were doing our weekly show during lockdown, like we talked about weird random shit. And I'd been watching a Sisters of Mercy video, and I accidentally clicked on the comments to come up, and people came up with all these like weird myths about the lead singer of it, and each one was funnier than the next. Like every time he talks, a goth chorus that starts singing. Like dumb stuff like that, but it was like funny stuff. And I just happened to be reading it this time. I was like, hold the fuck up. They even gave him the pole to hold, just like the guy does in Sisters of Mercy. And I was like, oh my God. And then I did research, and apparently it's an amalgam of Andrew Eldritch from Sisters of Mercy and Nick Cave.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, like it's Inanna's Prince? Well, we haven't gotten to Inanna in this yet. So.
Yeah, Inanna's not in the first one.
Oh yeah, I haven't read anything past the first trade.
So I forget the name of the character that's like 12 years old.
Minerva.
Okay, Minerva, I get like Gerard Way vibes. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
I couldn't figure out the Morrigan, who that was supposed to be based on.
Yeah, like I thought that would be like a dead giveaway, but
there was an issue written by or drawn by Tula Lotte at one point that I absolutely 100% loved. Later on, I love Tula's art.
No idea.
Now I'm gonna look up.
That one and Amaterasu, Amaterasu always gave me some Dazzler vibes. Honestly, that's who I think of when I see her.
I also thought a little bit of Lady Gaga, except when they said she's 17.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to be like based off of Gaga a little bit. I don't know. I've never found like anything like definitive that says any of this, but
so you've researched this already?
I tried. I didn't find anything
because
anywhere.
I was about to start Googling to see if I find something, but if you already did, I'm not gonna do it.
Well, maybe like the creators have at some point spoke on it. I just never found any like reputable source, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I found an interview randomly where they talked about that Baphomet was based off Nick Cave and Andrew Eldritch, and I was like, God damn, I was half right.
Yeah. But do they elaborate on like all the characters? Like, is there a resource somewhere where we can see all of it? You know,
that I haven't seen.
Is this still being published or is it over?
It's over.
It's over. Sweet.
The Morrigan is inspired by PJ Harvey, Patti Smith, and Susie Sue. Kate Bush and the song "Tame" by the Pixies.
No idea.
That's what I'm seeing here. Hey Inja, how are you? Thank you for the nice message the other day. I appreciate it. I'm on there's a whole Wicdiv fandom wiki.
Oh, look at that. Why didn't I?
Yeah, I just hit Wikipedia and there's some stuff happening here.
I know this is super interesting to see us like frantically Googling.
Right.
Let me see. The ball thing's bothering me because I can't now. Like,
I'm thinking of someone, but I don't remember his name. No, I'm thinking of someone else. What's the name of the dude that made an album with the band Linkin Park? I was gonna say the band that did
Jay-Z?
JC. That's who. That's the vibe I got. But
Yeah, but isn't Jay-Z like America's sweetheart? He's like a nice guy. And Kanye's like, I'm the shit. I would fuck
Kanye's
well,
like,
that's true.
I think every rapper though like has that like swagger on the best thing going.
Mm.
But Kanye's also like
literally thinks he's a god.
I don't know if he's bipolar or borderline, but there's some issues there.
There's a lot of things.
And I'm saying this is someone who is bipolar, but just not to the I'm a walking god. Yeah, like there's some hypomania going on there. So Wiccan Divine, this came out at a time. My only knowledge of Kieron Gillen and McKelvie up to this point was their Young Avengers run.
Oh.
And I love that run. It was interesting, and also it captures a little bit of this vibe, sort of with the interesting characters and them all having their own kind of traits.
Yeah.
I am once again going to commend the coloring on this because Matt Wilson accentuates the art so much in this.
He signed mine.
Sweet.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yes.
He's always at C2E2, so.
He's done a lot of books I've read lately.
Sweet.
Much like Witches, this started with something at the beginning to hook you in and make you wonder what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
With that meeting at the beginning, and they're all like, well, let's get drunk. And they're like, no, let's not. And then you start seeing the fingers, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then we find out clicking your fingers was deadly weapon in the world.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So they exploded themselves. That's right. Oh my god.
Yes, blew up the heads. And
it's like the end of the 2 years ritual, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they have to, you know. As you read, well, I haven't read anything past this trade. So up until the end of this
later
trade,
on in the series, you find out more about what the 2 years is. Also, you jump back in time to different eras.
Oh, that's
I have some one shots that are different eras. I haven't read them yet, but
there's one. Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of the gods. Like,
I mean, of course,
characters that showed up during this whole thing that you're just like, motherfucker, that's awesome.
I'm gonna have to check
literary
that out.
figures, scientists, like it. I found the one shots more compelling than some of the other stuff. It's kind of like that book Die, where they start bringing like the literary figures, like how was it Charlotte Bronte was the jailer in the Die world.
Really?
Yes.
I need to continue reading that.
Issue 9, which was my favorite issue that you eventually tattooed the cover of on somebody, it's the Charlotte Bronte. It's the Charlotte Bronte issue, which broke my brain reading it because I was like, holy shit, this is so fucking meta. I had to read it 3 times after initially reading it just to soak everything in.
I'm going to have to check that out. I haven't read anything past the first trade.
Well, the series is done now, so like
it's better to read it now that I'm going to get the end.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't read anything, not even my weeklies. The only thing I've been up to date is the Crush Lobo book. It's the only book that I've been reading consistently. Otherwise, I haven't read X-Men. I haven't even started the Hellfire Gala yet.
Well,
you're as far back as I am.
I ordered Philadelphia Volume 3.
That's on Volume 3 already?
Yeah, but like now Amazon's saying due to supplier constraints, I might not get it till February 8th.
Yeah. Things are getting tight.
I was like, okay, well, I have the single issues, so like I'm still going to schedule Rodney Barnes on for Volume 3 of the Philadelphia sessions where he sits down, because after every trade we've had him on.
Nice.
So probably still going to do that, but I was hoping to have the trade in hand because I don't want to pull out all the single issues to go back and read. But I will make them as a nice backdrop. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Oh. So one of the things I'll talk about with the color is this particular panel here.
So good.
Yes. And like I weirdly had that thought of like that old TV show, that cartoon Gem.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of Dazzler here, and I was like, dude, I would love to see this team do Dazzler.
That's what I said. Cool. She gives me some Dazzler vibes really, really, really hard, you know? Like that's all I see.
Put on the glitter and some skates.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That dress is all glitter. What are you talking about? Look at it, how it sparkles.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
The color in there was my favorite. It was like electric.
So I feel like as I've gotten older and as the paper has gotten better, the use of color to accentuate art and pages. Gambit and I, when we did the Long Halloween, we talked about how Tim Sale on Long Halloween, the contrast in color they use, where it would be a dark page, but then the blood would be leaking out. Nailbiter, when they did that, like there was also great use of that. Mm-hmm. Misfits over Jim and the Holograms.
I remember when I was a little kid, a neighbor was talking about this band, the Misfits, and I thought he was talking about the cartoon Misfits. So I bought in. Yes, I saw the last episode. Super excited because I liked the song, and he was talking about a completely different Misfits.
I get weird still when I see like younger kids wearing Misfits shirts.
Why?
and Joy Division because I was like, all right, like Grandpa's having an issue now. I'm just like, do you really know what they are? Do you just like the skull? Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
man.
So my
At least-
10-year-old got a Green Day shirt for Christmas, and then my 12-year-old got a Slipknot shirt for Christmas. And my 10-year-old got Green Day piano sheet music to play. They're like, these kids are like back into this stuff, and it's fine. Like, I'm down with it. you know?
Yeah. I mean,
For the dad gods.
For
I
the-
like dad bods, John Dre.
I did like that they do every chapter have the symbols.
And then they add in as they introduce.
yeah.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. This is of the this I think is my favorite cover is this one. I mean, it's the
Yes.
first one, you know.
Yes, Lucy.
And I love the colors in that illustration so much.
Did you
Like,
show that again? I got you on solo. now.
everything about it, it's just perfect.
And I do like that every cover was portraits.
Yeah. So some of the variants are really cool, but I really like to have like the uniform, all the portraits, you can line them up next to each other and they make like this big beautiful, you know, I don't know the word for it. It's so like oddly satisfying the way that they all like line up exactly the same.
It's all aesthetically pleasing, very artistically. Yes.
There's a part during the concert that I kind of kept wondering, did I ever have a moment like this when I was younger? Where they're like, she's staring at them and they're like, the girl to my left passes out, hyperventilating. The boy to my right falls to his knees, cum leaking out from his crotch. And she's like, she's not even looking at them. She's looking at me. I swear she's looking at me. She smiles at me. Infinity passes. I'm blessed. And then she passes out. I'm like, I don't think I ever had a moment like that in a show.
Yeah.
Nah, never. I've never had a moment like that in a show either.
I just love that the dial, she's like, the dude next to me falls down to his knees with cum leaking down. I was like, that is very, very like particular.
I think that's
very
like
specific.
the most risque thing that they say in this whole first volume. Like that, I was like, oh, are we going to talk about like a lot of gross things? But no, it's just that. Like there was no further, like they talk about obviously
There's
like
a little
their
sexual
relations, but they aren't throwing out words like that the whole time.
And then Lucy, she's like, tell me you brought cocaine.
Yes.
You're 17. Why don't you have cocaine?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of a teenager are you that you don't have cocaine with you? It's like, was I supposed to be carrying cocaine when I was 17?
I really like that this first volume like focuses really heavily on Lucy.
Yes.
Lucy is a very interesting character to me, and I have such a lady boner for her because she has that like androgynous Bowie thing going on.
Very much so.
Like, she'll open her mouth and you're reminded that like you're not supposed to like her. Like when she picks on the trans girl and she's like, I knew you were trans and I wanted to hurt you, so I did that. So it's like sometimes you're like, oh, she's softening a little bit, like she's a little bit relatable, and then she reminds you that she's the fucking devil.
She's fucking Lucifer.
Although Cassandra's kind of like a raging bitch.
Yeah, Cassandra's tough to deal with.
She's very extra.
Very extra, very judgmental, very like holier
Difficult.
than thou. Takes herself very seriously.
Way too seriously.
There's
people
Plus
like
her little
that.
posse, and they all are wearing like the same like Men in
Yes.
Black outfit.
Yeah, they're
and-
dressed equally.
Sock met with she's chasing the
the dot.
red dot.
that was hilarious. That shit was super funny.
And they're like, you mean this laser pointer? Oh,
Right.
shit.
And then we learned that it's not a laser pointer. It's actually a
No.
bunch of laser. What is that
Snipers.
called? Yeah, it's snipers. Thank you.
The scopes. The
Yeah.
Scopes.
red dot
Damn,
scopes.
Jesus. Cassandra is angry. Yes,
Yeah.
she is very.
So once they revealed that Cassandra was trans, I was like, okay, are they trying to like paint the angry trans person? But I think this is more of a personality quirk of like
Yeah. I agree.
And not that it took me a moment to kind of get it after the revelation, because they really don't sell it that much until Lucy brings it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's not a topic at any point other than that. It's just kind of implied, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I felt like it was thrown there very casually.
Mm-hmm.
So like you say, that's not the main focus.
It's kind of like when they're talking about all the like cultural appropriation going on amongst the gods.
Oh yeah.
They almost like they're kind of cheeky about it. They're like, "How annoying is he?" Because
when I talk about Woden and his Asian fascination,
yeah, he's got his little Asian fetish,
and I was just like, "Oh my god, he's one of the people who probably post Elon Musk memes, and then like is like way into like otaku stuff." Or like he's a weeb and he's got one of those like body anime pillows.
Yeah, or the mouses that have the boobies for the wrist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Cassandra's 100% the I'm going to debunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
But she has moments where you could tell she's like questioning her feelings on it. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, how is this explainable, But for the most part, she's like trying to debunk.
Although there's a part here where like Sakmet jumps on Lucy and she goes, Sakmet, yes, you're coming into heat, but this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
She's like, love the dot. And I was like, uh-oh. And I was like, wait, so is there not a laser dot, or is she talking about the dot of like her period hitting? Like
I think she's
about that.
I think she's talking about the dot.
When she started talking about in heat, I was like, did I misinterpret this? Like, it's been a couple of years since I read this, and I was like, I don't.
What do they call it? Double entendre?
Yes.
I think it was possibly, now that you're pointing it out.
And then we get to see Lucy's power. Yep. Snapping, blowing windows out, like just pretty fascinating, because like up to this point, other than them blowing up each other's heads, you didn't really see what they can do, or as they say, miracles.
Population control.
Yes.
Wow.
See, Jandra, you should have just come on and like,
yeah, like right. Come on, jump on, let's go.
I would never force anybody if they don't want.
Oh yeah, no. So. I'm just picking on him. He knows it.
Yeah. But pretty graphic scene, blowing up the fucking head. Like, it is 2 panels of showing it from each person's head blowing up, and I was like, all right, maybe excessive, but I mean, it's not like Mark Millar where they would have shown the brains, like, or Derek Robertson.
Something that I like about those panels, and later on when they blow another head off, which was equally surprising, although you saw it happening a few pages before, is that they are specifically drawn very artistically, very very pop art, very not cartoonish, but the colors is very different to the rest of the way the comic is colored, so that make them stand out, I think, even more. But it's not, it's well done, and it's not gruesome. It's not in colors that are shocking, and you go like, huh. It's something like, oh, those colors look really nice next to each other. You know what I mean?
We also move on to the scene in the courtroom, which I love more than anything, where Lucy's just literally holding court, kind of taunting everyone. Where like she's like, oh, I don't know. It sounds more like, oh, I don't know, an act of God, maybe. Now, if the court wants to rule that I'm a god, I'll have to live with that. But I have to say that's a very interesting precedent to set.
Yeah, I like that whole interaction, and that's, I think, when you get the most out of the character, it's in a situation like that where
declare me a god and crucify me.
Talk.
Even so, at the end of that scene, like when she's taunting, and then all of a sudden she's like, fuck, I didn't do that. Like you get to see both sides of her in that moment.
Yeah, very much. She's like, let's see what happens. Can I do it? Can I do it? And then it was like blown up. It was like, fuck.
Well, that did not age well.
God, why am I forgetting our main protagonist's name?
Laura,
yes. Which we're seeing a lot of this through her eyes. Like she's there and doesn't seem to have the greatest home life.
That's the thing. I don't get that from it. Like, it seems like her home life is fine. Her parents.
Well, she say she's bored by it because they don't get
boring.
her. Where it's the teen thing of my parents don't get me.
Yeah, I need excitement. I need to be special.
I know better than they do, and they're just keeping me down. Everybody's gone through that with their family. There's something they don't understand me. I think all of us have had that moment with their parents. Like,
I can't relate to that. My mom left very early, so she was never home during that phase of my life. So I legit don't have that rebellious phase because I follow whatever path I needed to follow until where I'm at right now. So I can't relate to that.
Gambit's a parent.
Okay. Well, I can relate currently because I have a 12-year-old girl and a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So you just don't get it. It exists.
And here's the thing: I have a 21-year-old that when he was a teenager, I guess we've been lucky as parents. Yeah, for real. David was never an issue. He was never difficult to handle. He was never a problem. He was always a sweet. He's always been a sweet boy. Yes,
he seems very go with the flow. Just a couple of interactions I've had with him.
But can we take a moment to appreciate that Gambit ages like fine wine if he has a 21-year-old kid?
yeah, I do have a 21-year-old kid.
I thought you were way younger.
No. I just turned 43 2 weeks ago.
I think we might have discussed this, but it was after like 3 hours of streaming and I was exhausted.
I mean, everybody guesses my age wrong, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I guess your age wrong. I still guess your age wrong.
What'd you say?
I think we're close in age.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
How old do you think I am?
34.
Almost.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not that. How old are you?
Older than Gambit.
He's older than me.
No, you are not.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are you guys drinking?
3 more weeks. I turn.
What's in the water in Florida? Shit.
Nothing good. I can guarantee you that.
Nothing good. Yeah.
Well, I live in Ohio, so like we just don't drink the water.
I have a friend who lives over by Columbus, and he comments about the water constantly.
It literally tastes like dirt is coming out of your faucet. It is disgusting.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
It tastes like Ohio, essentially.
Anyway,
Anyway, sorry, tangent. Back to the book.
At the end of the month, I turned 46.
No way.
Yeah.
Am I the baby? Or is Jen
is
younger than me?
No, Jen is, yeah.
And then if our friend Sid comes on, she literally is the baby.
The baby.
Or if Cinia comes on, I think she just turned 25. Wow. Yes.
Okay, but back to the book and the.
Yes.
I have a question. I'm not afraid to ask dumb questions if I don't understand something, so roll with it here. Were they indicating that Woden can like pass the power on like an STD?
Wait.
Like something about like, isn't he the one with all the followers? His little like harem.
That wasn't on. Was this in this book?
Yeah.
Yes, they said something about passing on the power
on to any of his followers, and I think they're like indicating it's like transmittable.
Like an STD.
And it kind of like opens up the group of suspects, I guess. I don't remember what page it was on.
Is it when she's talking with
when they're trying to figure out, they're trying to narrow down like who could have been involved, I guess. There's a comment somewhere along the way.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. is when Cassandra is. The panels are set up as if Cassandra and Lucifer are talking. Right?
Oh, no, it's so when they're all like sitting together in here.
Let me see.
It says,
Sorry,
I don't do anything myself, but I'm a maker. I could have given something to one of my girls.
Yeah, that's when that's okay. That's when she's in with with all of them, with all the gods when Val takes him to see the gods. Okay.
But he says in Jandre, the reason why I say it like that is because the way he words it, I could have given it to one of my girls. I'm a maker, you know, and it's like they refer to these people as like his harem essentially. So
the Valkyries are dependent on Woden for their powers, and as such, follow his orders at all times. Woden fetishes them and forces them to perform sexual acts for him, sometimes dressed up as Lucifer and Amaterasu. His favorite Valkyrie was Brunhild, but he kicked her out and humiliated her after she spread damaging rumors about him. He has absolutely no respect for them and described them as pathetic.
Wow.
Yeah. So just like your red dot theory, that's my theory. Magical herpes.
I mean, magical herpes is a thing in comics, I guess.
I mean, I literally watched
Why not?
I literally watched a movie where it was a supernatural STD that haunted people.
Oh, what was that called? I swear I watched it.
It Follows, where like you had to fuck someone else, and then the ghost started following them until they passed it on.
What?
I swear I watched this movie. It was like a B movie on Netflix a couple years ago, right?
It was actually came out in the theaters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yeah, because I have a friend that he said to me one day, you need to watch this movie, but he didn't tell me anything about it. This is the first time that I hear about it like that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like I watched it. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like this. I don't. You know what? I like horror, but this is too much. I mean, it's like that one where the girl's vagina had teeth.
I cannot finish that movie because like I just cannot do rapey movies. And anybody who could rape that girl rapes that girl.
Yes.
So I was like, nope, we're done here. I'm not watching this. We were watching horror movies with our daughter this weekend, and that came up on the like list, and I was like, no, absolutely not.
What is the name of the movie? But avoid so that I can avoid
Teeth.
It's just called Teeth.
Yeah, the
and
girl.
then there's one tentacle or something. It's kind of similar, but she's got an octopus instead of teeth.
I have not seen that one.
I don't know.
Wow. Let's put a creature down there.
Just, you know.
Someone watched a hentai movie one night. Was like, what if?
What if instead of going in, it comes out?
The girl will have. Yeah. God. If ever there was a conversation that Jen was missing out on, Jesus Christ.
Right. I have to add that this is my favorite sequence in this whole trade paperback.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
This is my favorite. My favorite sequence is this one, and the whole book, up until the end of this page. Everything about it, it's perfect. It's perfection. It's
the evolution.
It does great storytelling without telling the story, I guess.
Visually.
Can we do a least favorite now?
That is storytelling, you know.
Hit us with the least favorite.
I'm trying to be better about just all the positive and not seeing anything that's maybe a shortcoming. The dialogue in the underground between Baphomet and her is just so cheesy and ridiculous, and like it was not witty, cute banter to me. It was just so over the top, and you know, I know the whole point was like we're making a scene,
and then having to quote Shakespeare to like talk her down from being the other like
the whole thing
was kind of cheesy.
Like
really?
I don't.
That's what you guys got a problem with?
Huh?
No, I just remember going, this is kind of, I just thought it was kind of cheesy.
It really was. Like the dialogue was very, I don't know, like scat poetry almost.
I thought that it was part of the act. for me, it felt like these are two characters that they are portraying. They have to put. This is what make these characters these characters. That cheesiness and that thing is part of it. I guess I got it the wrong way then.
When
I
the head
like
is
the underground
talking,
scene. I just
and
didn't think that initial dialogue was good.
Chandra likes it. Yeah, no, when Baphomet is like controlling the head and he's like, T.S. Eliot is an anagram of toilets. This is something Baphomet knows. I'm like, a lot more effort could have gone into this,
Maybe that's how. I mean, I don't know. I see it like it's something that character. I try to see this when I read them. I try to see these characters as that's something that someone who thinks is cool would say, and you'd be like, come on, man, you could have done better than that. But if that character existed, he would be exactly like that. I don't know. I guess I thinking too much of it right now.
So
I can see your take on it. It makes sense if his whole like character is like, I am the silly thespian and whatever. It just didn't do it for me.
This back and forth while she's locked up, where she's like, now I know you must feel terribly teased we didn't consummate our flirtation, but this screen makes it somewhat tricky. Intangible cunnilingus is beyond even my abilities. That said, I've never tried. They do say I have a wicked tongue. Do you have a cigarette or cocaine? Ideally cocaine? Not even a little bit of cocaine? No. What kind of teenager you don't have class A drugs on hand? Like, what the hell?
That's
I love that she thought the answer was going to change if she said just a little bit of cocaine.
That's when I questioned my whole teenage years. It's like, was I supposed to carry cocaine with me everywhere I go? I didn't know that. Nobody told me this. I was supposed to stay off drugs.
And then Lucy's history where, Ananke's out on her swing in her yard while she's smoking, and then she grabs a knife to go out and knife her.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then we get your favorite panels of just dropping, you are the Lord of the Pit, of the eternal fire, of inspiration, of rebellion, of damnation. We meet again, Lucifer. I've missed you. And she talks about how she's got finger cuffs on. And not the fun type.
Frustratingly non-erotic.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that panel of Lucifer, Lucifer reborn, That's
So they regenerate in a new human form every time, correct? So it's kind of like a mix of
Every 90 years, am I correct?
Yeah. So at first, I guess it kind of confused me a little bit because I'm like, all right, are they like possessing this body? But it's more of like the human and their personality is still there, but now they have like this new
knowledge,
soul attachment involved. It's not like a full takeover, I guess.
I think it's more like a wake up thing.
Characteristics.
It's like you have been sleeping, so you have been you think you are this person because you were raised, with these parents and you've been your whole life, and then suddenly you are waking up from that lie, like, no, this is who you really are, and this is your path. And I feel like it's more like you don't stop being you just open the door to being your full you, and there you are, a god.
Dual personality. I could not find the word for it.
Also, how freaked out would you be going down a subway tunnel and all of a sudden, like, the lights coming on, but the lights are fire across the bricks?
Right.
Like from someone flicking their fingers.
Right.
I don't know. Like, kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I mean, if these people know what they were going in for, so they know they were going to see something that, was going to be magical, at least, it's like going into a magician's show, you're going to be fooled and you're going to be entertained about it, so whatever. I don't think they go there thinking that they were going to see a cop being burned alive.
No, the Morrigan, later on in the series, you find out kind of the tragic origins of the Morrigan and Baphomet and how fucked up their relationship is.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very messed up, and they're kind of have a very toxic relationship, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
in life and in the second life.
Damn.
This was a page that I really.
Oh yes, that moment was really.
that.
Yeah,
that was really
I
cool.
really dug the layout of it. It's very interesting to me the way that. And then Morgan shows up in her other personality, the redheaded mean one.
Oh yes. At first, I was a little bit confused as to wait, is this? Did she jump's body? It's just that she just changes her appearance.
She changes into 3 different
She's got
personalities.
three
right?
different personalities. One's a healer, Annie. The other one is
Badum. I don't know how you say
Badum or something. And then the Morgan is kind of the normal.
the neutral.
And boy, had I not started my tattoos years ago, I probably would have done all of the ravens like she has.
That's a thought. We can still do that.
No, we can't. And then like Laura's just like, alas, poor Morgan, holding up the head. I never knew her, and if Badwood, not Morgan, is here, maybe the king was right to play with an absent throne. And she's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then goes back to being Morgan.
Oh, I got farther along. I just kept flipping through the pages.
And everything goes black, and every time I look at Baphomet wearing his leather jacket and no shirt, all I think about is Andrew Eldritch from Sisters of Mercy. Please watch this Corrosion music video, and you will see a 100% what the fuck I mean by this. Don't watch the Dominion one, because that's when he started wearing just white suits and had a big beard and could cut his hair. Yes, that is the thing.
I'm gonna have to go research this thing because I have no idea who you're talking about, man.
Sisters of Mercy are a late 80s goth band. Almost industrial.
I see what you mean.
Yes. I posted a lot about them today because I was like, I cannot believe this never fucking occurred to me before, and it made me a little bit mad.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that yes, Morgan is the artist. It's pretty obvious that character has a lot to do with Baphomet's appearance.
Can we take a moment to appreciate and thank Jandre for being like the full encyclopedia? Anything that we're questioning, he's got the answer over here in the chat.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Everything. He is Wikipedia for this.
So
I mean, I appreciate it.
I think everybody has the series that like they're kind of the Wikipedia for, whether intentionally or non-intentionally. I guess I'm kind of a Frank Miller apologist, and my friend and I did Ronin a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't read Ronin in 30 years. Oh boy, like I had no apologies for the racism in this motherfucker.
Really? Was it bad? Was it bad? I haven't read it in like 30
years.
The
amount of Asian slurs used in that fucking book.
Really? Damn.
I saw the word nip used or slant about 30 times in 5 pages.
In 5 pages.
In 5 fucking pages. And I was like, dude, I understand it was a different time, but bro, I lived in New York when this came out. Yes, racism was wild when I lived up there. I had enough Italian family that were racist. And like, I just sat there going, you know what? I'm glad I've evolved. Like, this shit bothers me.
These are the people that now are like, it's okay, I can say that. I have a black friend, or I have a Asian friend. Like,
Jandre, I can send you the link.
It's not too late if you want to.
Those, of course, looks bad in Ronin. It does.
Oh yeah, it looks horrible.
But so like I had to think, I didn't say it during stream, but after we got off, I was like, did Frank Miller think by having one of the protagonists being a black woman, he could get away with this shit?
Right. I think in his head, I'm pretty sure at that time in his head, I thought that was sound logic, you know? I can get away with this because I included a character in the book, so I can get away with these ideas, you know?
I did make a wild kind of declaration during it that I don't know if I should have made.
Oh,
So
if you're having doubts,
if you look at like Frank Miller's art, then how different it was. I was like Daniel Warren Johnson, who did Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, and Beta Ray Bill. I think his art is that kind of like wild without the racism.
Keep the good.
Yeah, like
Bad.
I like the weird, except he has emotional storytelling,
Mhm.
which I really dig. Like those 2 books by him, I've loved.
I sent him the link already.
Oh, okay. I'm worried Jen's not here yet.
You might get a hard stop from me at like 10:30 because I'm like dead at this point.
Oh no, like I 100% get it. Like, so we were good for a while, like saying hour and a half. That's our out.
So yeah, so we have to let's try it out this show. We still have 30 more minutes.
And then the last 2 shows we went way over.
And that's okay, right? We'll be all right.
They both looked a lot.
I really like the art in this book. Like I really like how beautifully drawn it is, and the way it's colored complements the line work and the angles and everything about it. It's like
I appreciate the storytelling.
Yes.
If the art can tell the story without even words,
Yep.
it's workable. Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer with the artist on that, I also is another book I think that just works perfectly together.
Mhm.
Which at some point we got to go back to Black Hammer because.
Yeah. I have to finish reading that huge book that I got.
Yeah.
The second part of that.
And then
story.
we got to schedule our George Perez show. By the way, how was your dinner with George?
Oh, it was as magical and beautiful as you could imagine it can be. We had a great day. He was at Holiday Matsuri that day. He wanted to take some pictures, so we went there so that he could take the pictures, and we spent the day together, just walking around a little bit, and then in the rooms talking and resting, and then we went for dinner, and we had an amazing dinner that night. It was really great. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Doing
Thank
good.
you for joining us.
No problem.
Hey, Julian.
Okay, bye.
He replenished. He's a good boy. Thank you.
So, Jandre, we were told you were one of the biggest fanboys of this series. I'm glad that you came on with us. Yes, the painting. By the way, there's a painting of Baal in this. Which,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's where the
He's
Kanye
like, it's
for me
fine.
comes.
It's totally modest.
Yes.
No, I like his line. He said, "Please, when you're as good as I am, this is humble." I get it. You know, I mean,
That's
he
a
can.
Kanye line.
He can brag. He can brag when you can do what you can do. You don't have to be an asshole about it, but you can brag a little bit when you're good at something. It's okay, and he's taking it to an extra level. But considering the amount of, it's relative,
So, out of the gods we've met so far, which ones do you gravitate to the most?
Who would you be? Is the better
Lucifer. Legit, my favorite so far. Up until the end of this book, which is all I've read of them, Lucifer is my favorite character.
The most charismatic of them, for sure.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what you got?
I think I'd be Lucifer, but I love the Morrigan. That triple personality. I've always been a fan of stuff like that, but Lucifer is definitely I would say the most well-rounded and probably the most loved character, at least in this first volume. Because you just see
Lucifer.
I think everybody would.
But I also would be totally okay being Sekhmet because she's like the beloved pet.
She's the cat.
I'm okay with that too.
Just let her be. She's gonna come and go. Don't worry about it.
I sadly know that like Baphomet is probably the one like I most relate to, and I hate that. I hate it so much.
Jonathan,
He's very strange. Yes.
tell us why you love the subway scene, because we're kind of house divided here.
Because I think it's a play, like Gambit was
Very
saying. To me,
Shakespearean.
it's to that's their show. They're doing a dual show, and Baphomet is trying to take her thunder, and then you see when she gets angry, she transforms into her warrior persona, and then kind of pulls herself back when Laura like does the whole thing with the head, but Laura kind of takes part in the play itself, but it's them being like, all right, we're going to put on a different type of show. We're not doing the music. We're doing a play for everybody.
They're artists.
Yeah.
They're performing artists.
That was kind of Laura's ploy, her moment to get in with that particular group of gods, because she was told, you need to figure out how to get in with them.
Yeah.
So
and she had never seen the Morrigan's show.
So she did that split second, like, okay, I got the head. I'm going to stand out and do my thing. And
yeah, before she goes down to the underworld, she's like, I've seen all these other god shows, but I've never seen. And we keep referring to Tara that we never meet until way later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elusive Tara. Fucking Tara.
And if you notice, too, the Morrigan's thing, and with Baphomet, it's not on a stage. It's in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where I wonder if, like, in other things.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, we lost him. Are we supposed to act all
everybody freeze?
Frozen?
No.
We lost him.
Okay.
There he is.
Nope. Here I am.
We lost you.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off here right now and try to do it on my computer to see if I can get a better connection.
Okay. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yep. I'll be right back.
Bye.
So the George Perez show we do you want it to just be Crisis, or do you want to talk about all his works?
That's going to be a difficult thing to decide right this second. I don't know, man.
I know we talked about Crisis.
I mean, it's just that there's so much thing.
Or is this just going to be like us talking about all his work and why we love him?
Probably. I think that's what's going to happen. I would love to talk. I would love to talk about Crisis, but I would also love to talk about his Wonder Woman, you know? And I
definitely
would love
Infinity
to
Gauntlet.
Yes, and I would love to talk about his JLA Avengers book, the one that was not published and the one that was published, you know?
I have I just picked up a collection, and there's a JLA Avengers in there that I didn't know was a thing.
Nice.
It was.
Here, it's like right next to me. I'm going to grab it, and you tell me what you know about it. If it's what you're talking about, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yes. He brought us Disco Nightwing. That giant neck piece.
Yes. And obviously talk about the Teen Titans run more than anything else, you know?
Because, I think I'm gonna get Morbius on with this because he's a huge Perez guy.
Yeah. Because there's a lot to talk about, you know? There's a lot to talk about.
We were also talking about doing a show called Not Key Issues.
I like that. Minor Keys. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's Avengers JLA. Yeah. Yeah, it's 4 issues. It's a 4-issue crossover. I think it was.
About it.
I think there's a collected edition. I think there's a collected edition that was published a few years ago, but right now it's not. You can't find a trade that.
So there's a funny story about that. Years ago, there was a whole other JLA Avengers that came out that never came out that Rob Liefeld bought all the pages for.
Yeah.
And I guess like he had sold them to someone else and didn't tell anybody. And then like when they were going to make this omnibus or absolute edition, they were like, hey, we need to scan those pages. Like, I don't have them anymore.
But those pages are scanned, and you can find those pages now. There's this dude, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. That he took the task of coloring all those pages like as if they were colored back then in the 80s, and they look beautiful. Like those were such beautiful pages colored in.
So Scott, I shit on Rob, but I gotta say his podcast is fucking entertaining.
I was gonna say, I wonder how much cocaine he was able to buy after he sold those pages.
Apparently, according to everybody who's worked at Image, he's never done a drug.
Really? He strikes me as a upper.
I think he's ADHD.
That's more like it than drugs.
Rob's podcast is very interesting. Of course, everything's from his point of view, so you got a grain of salt. My friend worked for him and said he's never been paid more in his life doing page work for him. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I as much as I don't like him. I do admit that his podcast it's actually good. I've heard a few episodes and they were really good. It was like that was.
We should listen to it together and do like a reaction video with do like his very first episode. It's not good.
No. Just that.
It's not something you want to do a reaction to. I'm not going. He does a great Todd McFarlane impersonation. I'll give him that.
Well,
oh my god.
Robservations, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yes. And it's good.
It's interesting. He never talks about when there was the extreme crossover with Valiant about Bob Layton sitting out in his front yard waiting for pages. That supposedly is a thing where the guy from Valiant literally put his car in Rob's yard and camped there waiting to get pages from him.
Well, that's dedication, I guess.
That's dedication. That's a 2-month late deadline.
That's when your boss has to sit in front of your house so that you finish your work. That's not dedication.
I think if my boss had to sit in front of my house and wait for me to finish my work, I would probably be fired.
It's a weird industry. You can't fire someone.
It's a really weird industry. It's true. It's a really weird industry.
So to put it this way, there's an artist who got his dream of working on X-Men who decided to weirdly put anti-Semitic shit in the book.
Oh, yeah. See, that was the one for the X-Men Gold. The X-Men Gold.
Yes. Book. Why in the fuck would you sabotage yourself like that? An idiot. Like, it's insane. And then I don't know if you've seen what's going on with Shane Davis and Mark Brooks lately.
No, what happened?
On Twitter. They are fucking going at it left and right every day. And Mark Brooks is just going at every Comicsgate person known to man. Oh, yeah. Like, it's uncomfortable yet humorous. Because Shane Davis is like, well, you're not making money, blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, it's fascinating. I'm surprised Comicsgate's still a thing. It's been, 4 years, 5 years?
Oh, my God. I did not know that Shane Davis was part of that. Let me go and friend him on Facebook right now.
It upsets me because, like, weirdly, when I first started doing the live streams and stuff, he started following me because I talked well about his art one day. And now I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody cool ever follows me back when I talk about their art. He said, Arthur Soyda unfollows me.
There you go. It's done. Unfollow. I followed you back.
Well, yeah, obviously. Like, we're on a first name basis, so.
Rodney Barnes was like the first person that like started like reacting to my stuff. I was like, notice me, senpai.
He's really cool.
To have him on the show and where he just went off on one of our panelists for an hour.
It's like when I do a tattoo that's comic book related and the original artist reacts to the post. It's like it feels cool. It's like
the one that always got me was the Kitty Pryde.
Girl.
Yeah, oh yeah, every time.
The Kitty Pryde you did for me that John Cassidy retweeted, and I was just like,
yeah.
And then Joss Whedon, now knowing he's a piece of shit, I was just like,
at the time it was cool that Joss Whedon liked it. Now it's like I could care less.
Yeah, Jay Lee also eventually found the one you did of the gunslinger on me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I was just like, Jay Lee, oh.
Yeah, I met him. He's a really cool dude, and I was supposed to meet him on that Puerto Rico Comic Con that was canceled because of the of COVID, and that never happened. So
I have all the death mates, so let me know when you're doing that show. Jesus
wow. You know that up until like 2 years ago, I had that series and I put it on a donation pile and I donated to the local library. So if you go to the local library, you're probably going to find those books there still to read them.
Wasn't Deathmate the one that had there was like a yellow holographic and then a silver holographic?
It was yellow, gold, red, and I think blue.
It was black, blue, red, silver, and yellow.
Black had the first appearance of Gen 13.
I think.
Well, I wish I hadn't sold them then.
The black, they're worthless.
Yeah, they were in the bottom of a collection I bought.
Yes,
and I was like,
they
cool.
literally way.
So Gambit, now that you're not doing Puerto Rico Comic Con since it was pushed back, what will you be doing the month of January?
The month of January, I'll be tattooing because.
Okay. Well, I knew you were weren't you supposed to go down there?
Yes, I was going to go to the convention, to the Puerto Rico Comic Con, but that has been postponed until April. So I'm not going to Puerto Rico now until April. So that opened up some time off. So basically, I don't have anything planned. Just work.
Are you still doing commissions on your?
Oh yeah, I am doing commission. Oh, now that you mention it, I am doing commissions, and I am a CGC dealer, official dealer now. So my commission work can be sent to CGC and get a signature series label on the top.
Excellent.
Or so that is that is my understanding. Let me clarify that. I haven't sent one yet, so I'll let you know.
I got a commission cover from Colette Turner graded, and she's CGC. So like it basically went from them, then to me.
Yes, exactly. That's my understanding. I send it directly to them, and they send it to you.
And also, I don't know if you want to be involved in it, but her partner has a comic book coming out called Murder Die Senpai, and wants to come on and like talk indie comics.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I'm part of the indie scene here. I did. I don't have it with me in my hands right now, but I did the cover for the collective story in Altamonte, and next year there's a Cthulhu Invades Wonderland book coming out, and I had the what?
Xenoscope, because usually they're all the Wonderland books.
No, that's by Orange Cone. It's a local, it's an indie thing here from Florida.
Orange Cone did the one that you just did the cover for.
I did the one for that cover, and I did the one for
Scott,
I did another story for Famous Faces and Funny. I did the Voodoo Nations exclusive cover. What's that? You're gonna do a segment on Gambit's Instagram comic.
Which version? The one people understood or the other one?
It's funny. The one that the one that I got the most messages asking what happened in the comic was the one that had the better reactions and the better performance on Instagram. I mean, the other one I just posted it last night when everybody's celebrating. So I don't know why I expected to have a better performance.
It did tell the story a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, Joshua, you're back.
Yes, sorry.
We tangented hard that time.
Yes. And again, that's what I said I loved about you being on here, that you could roll with it because we always fucking derail.
I love it because sometimes you derail and I have things I can contribute to it, and sometimes you derail and I'm learning about things I don't know about.
You're going along for the ride.
Yeah.
I think the hardest derail we had was when Morbius was on. We were doing Dark Phoenix and Jen started talking about oral sex and how, Cyclops doesn't give oral like Wolverine, and Wolverine goes down like he's in a pie eating contest.
Savage.
And that's why Jean doesn't love Cyclops.
Oh my god.
Gambit went away from the mic for a little bit and just kind of turned his head. And I know, like, we've won when Gambit. It was just like, no,
no. we get there. We get there every time at some point. So, Jandra, you were saying that you love the scene in the undergrounds, and you like that the play was being done in between the people. You know, like the crowd. It's being technically the audience is being part of this play.
It was street
part
theater.
of this. Yes,
exactly.
Guerrilla theater.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But it shows that there could be a different dynamic depending on every member of the Pantheon. Not every single one is like most of them are music, but that one shows that it doesn't need to be music.
Yeah.
Well, I've always found goth culture to be theater in itself.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like even Iggy Pop back in the day, like his shows were very theater. Susie Sue is very theater, which apparently the Morgan is based off of.
Now I know who you're talking about. Oh my
god. Very dramatic. Wow. And again, street theater, if you've ever walked the streets of New York, you'll see people doing Shakespeare in the park and stuff, and they will involve the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chicago and places like that do that.
It almost it makes it feel like guerrilla. That's pretty much what it is. It's that like you don't have to be. It's not just about putting it out to the people. It's letting the people walk in between the scenes.
Yeah,
and that's what Laura was able to do. She was able to take part and then make a little bit of a connection. Because I think the Morgan even says like, if you come into the darkness or into the shadows,
and you call me,
say my name, I'll be there. That's what it was.
When she said for some reason I kept thinking of the Destiny shot. Say my name, say my name.
Oh my god.
The back and forth here between Cassandra and Lucy is fucking insane.
Before we get to that, I want to comment back on the pages on the underground when the officer is lit on fire and he's starting to run on fire, and
Annie.
We see the same thing that we see on the gruesome pages on the previous issue, where the art for that such a horrific situation, it's a very artistic approach in the colors that it's using it, the way the colors are being used, because we see green and yellows instead of the typical, yellows and reds that we see when we see someone burning, and the way it's approached is similar in a way to the head exploding panels where
it's all those little lines
were done where it's a very different color selection, a very more pop, brilliant, bright, not brilliant, bright, like in your face, intense color versus all the other muted red and all the other muted colors that's in the rest of the comic and the rest of the scene.
Can we talk how Annie looks kind of like a cross between Tank Girl and Sinead O'Connor?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where the crossover was. I was like, it's a little Tank Girl, it's a little somebody else that I'm not pinpointing. That makes total sense.
Totally agree.
We get a little bit of Laura versus her parents.
Her version.
Yes, it from her POV. Where I'm sure if you talk to her parents, you get a whole different POV.
Well, she still says, "I wish they were angrier at me," So they probably weren't that hard on her either,
And I believe that there was something in there where she says like, "They want me to believe." So I mentioned in a comment before of like, her parents seem to want her to believe in the Pantheon, and she kind of plays it off, at least for a while, that she doesn't believe or she doesn't think it's cool, but she's a super fan, and she hides that from them.
Yeah, I wish they would stop me. I wish they were angrier. I wish they would judge me more.
Fucking teenagers.
Yeah, like...
It's like, I think it's cool, but I'm not going to tell you I think it's cool because you also think it's cool, and we can't think the same things are cool. So.
Exactly. I think it's when is it Ball who's doing that interview on TV, and like her dad's like making these little
don't
comments.
Feed Laura.
Yeah, like don't stop baiting her.
Hello, Dylan. How are you doing with the youngest one, Little Bot? He has a newborn, so he.
Congrats on the new.
Congratulations! That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So
first Christmas with the new one too. That's got to be special. Like,
another
he's
one
terrible.
These three panels are so perfectly executed.
Oh yeah, when she's like trying to play it cool, she's like,
oh yeah, I totally fuck them.
You guys, it's okay, nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah, because like she's trying to play cool and she just can't. And again, this fucking painting.
Oh, when she's talking about herself and she's like, my superpower is fail. I am fail girl.
Yeah, I'm fail girl. Yeah.
Like he has a painting of himself. It's like, yeah, it's humble.
Yeah, that's what I would say. When you're as good as me, this is humble.
Yeah, the whole time she's like, I love you. Like, oh, fucking nailed it. But we get to meet the Pantheon, and it's this whole like Dayglow Matrix room.
More of
course, we have Woden with one of his Valkyries.
Just standing in the middle of the room, casually molesting each other, like.
Yeah.
Caressing each other, very handsy. It reminds me of Tron more than anything.
Yes, very much. It is very Tron. And I wonder if, because I think that Tron remake was coming out right around this time.
Oh, then it wouldn't surprise me that it was done on purpose like that.
And then Ananke is kind of just telling her how it is.
I love it when she says Ananke looks like dust made flesh. It's like a really nice way of saying she looks old as fuck.
Yes.
Almost brittle.
She basically is like, Lucifer's gonna rot. That's her penance. But the girl Minerva, she's like, hey, you know what else isn't fair? Dying before you're 14.
Oh yeah, poor thing. That's the Daniel Way one.
Gerard Way, yeah.
Gerard Way.
The one thing that I always thought was really fun too is that whenever they show the little Pantheon thing, they have Lucifer's star behind bars.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that till now. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's in jail, so her symbol is behind bars.
I can't believe I lost that. I missed that.
So like when I was saying before with the first Pantheon, you see, they show the same circle, but everybody that's the skulls, they're dead.
They're dead already.
So there's only 4 of them around the table when they die right in the beginning.
So I definitely did not make that connection right away that the skulls were for the dead ones.
Yeah, which is that's why there's 4 in the circle, and there's 4 at that table. And then as we go on, we see more of them popping up in the other circles.
I'm trying right now to find you these 2 characters so Cody and Cambria came out with these characters for their unheavenly creatures, and the picture of Woden and his Valkyrie, I swear to God, like these characters are based off of it. It's Sister Spider.
How hard they were to get those Coheed and Cambria comics back in the day?
Dude, I have all of them.
But it used to be very hard to find the original before they got picked up by the other publisher, with the ones that they were indie publishing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to listen to that band to see if the books pique any interest.
So that's Sister Spider. She looks like the Valkyrie, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I can see that.
So basically,
They
Cody
might
and
have used
Cambria,
this book for some inspiration.
Cody and Cambria are comic fans, and their albums are kind of concept albums. Always
They tie in with the
tie in with their books.
They actually own a subsection of Boom called Evil Inc. Comics.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So, like, if you could stand the singing of Geddy Lee on Rush,
you could
but love heavy guitar, you would love Coheed.
I'm gonna have to check it. I mean, I know I've listened
to
a song or
have
two,
like a Geddy Lee voice.
Oh yeah. You know, my other favorite part of this book is when Lucifer decides to. She said, like, you know what?
I've had enough.
She's not going. Nobody's gonna get me. Nobody's gonna get me out of here. I'm gonna do it myself. If you would have stopped this trade paperback in that panel of Lucifer walking away, you know, with the walls open and she's just walking out because I can fucking walk out, you know. You would have ended the story there. You'd be like, okay, I would have been satisfied. Yeah, I would have been like, yep, that's it. This is the book. I'm done.
Which is funny because I think you and I had this discussion when we were talking about Rise of Skywalker when we reviewed that had Last Jedi ended with that scene with Luke Skywalker's ghost with all those walkers coming. If you had ended it there, everybody would be like, holy fuck, I gotta watch what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And
the comment she makes on that last page. And woe betide anyone foolish enough to question my caffeine intake. Is like just mic drop, end it.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think like it would have been a great like, holy shit, I have to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm. Cliffhang.
Yeah, like always leave them wanting more.
I mean, they left it on an okay cliffhang, but that definitely would have been more impactful.
I mean, the way the book ended, it's pretty fucking impactful, you know.
But not getting there yet and just seeing this scene, you were like, all right, this is a cool part to stop.
Like again, another page that I think that it's one of the many reasons I love this book. It's this page here.
Oh, where Ball looks like freaking Thor.
Yes. Wait, I'm trying. There you go.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't have a chance to go to the storage, and I'm reading from my iPad.
Like they beat the living fuck out of her in this, and again, like it's so weird that they
so bright.
Where you start thinking there's something wrong. Like
you start questioning like why
they're aggressive.
Yeah, there's some anger towards Lucifer here. What is up?
Because they even mentioned earlier when they're doing that whole meeting, and I think right when we see the big picture on the wall of Ball, they mentioned him like putting someone through a wall, and he's like, if I wanted to put them through the wall, they would have went through the wall. So it was like there was already conflict about how they were treating Lucifer and how there's dissension in the ranks, and then when she breaks out, it's like, oh, all bets are off now. Like, we're stopping you because we put you in jail. Everybody knew you could escape. Because Lucifer even says, I don't break out because I don't want to make Anyak more mad or more disappointed in me. And then
disappointment was the word.
Yeah, she was like,
which
I don't
is
want to
way worse than mad.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to disappoint her anymore, so I'm just going to stay. But then once Laura fails to convince them to get her out, that's when she's like, oh, I'm out. And they're like, okay, well, now we're having a fight.
Now we're going to have to, and they're coming at her. They are coming at her like, yep.
I love this cover for issue 5.
Yes.
For the character we have not met yet.
Yeah. It's like a little bit of a tease.
Yes. I believe that's Tara, if I'm correct.
First cover appearance of Tara.
Yes. Thank you, Key Collector. Because we start with her defacing a picture of Tara. Where it's like glasses and says loser.
Oh, yeah.
If you exist, you're staring at me.
I love throughout the book where they're just always like, fucking Tara.
Another page that I think these next few pages, I don't know what part of the book you're at, but I just keep flipping and I'm almost at the end. But these pages here.
Oh, and she says, "I love you," and then it's the worst.
Those three panels, and the next few pages after this, everything that happens right after that, when she opens the door, and I say, and the old lady goes like, "I love you, Lucifer," and that reaction, Lucifer's reaction, like, no, the fear, because you know what's going to happen. You're like, no.
But like Ball coming and punching her into the ground, like, just she's beat to shit. She lights him on fire, and he still's coming at her.
I mean, they're gods; they can take it.
Jen texts, she's still not out of work, so she's not going to make it. Big surprise at this point.
I mean, right? No, but I mean, at least we know that she's okay. Which is
it just said because this was her pick.
Oh, that's right.
Hopefully we did her justice.
Right.
Jonathan was our substitute teacher while she was out.
So after that page where she says, after that page that she says to Lucifer, "I love you," and we go to that next page. Spoiler, guys. I'm sorry, but you should know the show by now.
That's my favorite color in the whole book. Is that panel.
That's that panel, and
the color palette actually is kind of odd for such a dark scene that it's such bright colors.
Yeah.
This is the third time that I'm going to say this. When it comes to the gruesome parts like that, the color selection, the way it's illustrated, it's so different, and it's a little bit more pop art than the more realistic comic book style that the show has. That the book has gives you on all the other panels. Those specific panels, the panels that are heads exploding and a dude burned in fire. The art is very bold and very, very pop.
Unpredictable.
It's almost like death in this world is bright colors.
Yes, it's exactly. It's a different thing. It's a way to take
everything's pop.
Yeah.
It's a way to artistically. It's a way to get a very gruesome situation or image and make it aesthetically pleasing to the eye, that you see it, and instead of going like, oh, that's an eyeball going there, you go like, oh, that's a nice blue that eyeball that eyeball has that. Going there, and look at it in a different way than just being the. I think it takes away any feeling of gratuitousness in the goreness of the panel. Like, we're not being gory for the sake of being gory. We're being artistic with the goriness of it.
I think it's especially impactful with Lucy, because Lucy's so black and white through the whole book that when she goes boom and she explodes, it's pink, it's yellow, and then they move on to the next panel and it's deep red on white.
And it explodes different than the other heads. This one didn't send any chunks of meat flying anywhere.
It was like electricity.
It was energy, it was just energy. It exploded.
I do love the fact that when Ananka shows up, she's like, "Don't."
She knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
She knew it was about to happen.
You can see it in her face,
Because I believe when that guy catches fire, it's also squiggly lines. Like, squiggly lines tends to be death in this book. Whenever someone's dying, it's squiggly lines for some reason.
It's funny because your brain starts like connecting them all based on those like aesthetic features, but you don't think about it.
And
it's nicely done. I think it's nicely done. It's a nice touch to it.
It's not gory. It's just beautiful.
And then you have like Morgan there, and she's like, "I can't do anything." when she turns into Annie.
She's not sleeping.
Dead. She's not sleeping. She's dead. Again, the next few panels after the next few pages after that, the storytelling it's magnificent.
POV.
If you take the moment that the lady says you with the camera, I would speak, and you look at those panels that comes after that of her talking. If you take all the dialogue, you can see the expressions on her face, and you can see the subtle body movements and gestures that those details. That's for me. That's perfect. Those are the little things that I go like, yeah, those are the things that make these pages interesting, aside from all the dialogue and all the things that happen in the story so far, But those little things, someone's talking at the camera and it's not just the same panel over and over and over and over and over with just the mouth a little drawn a little bit different, It's actually, that
you see Laura going through it. You see Laura going through it in those panels where she's watching TV, she's covering her mouth, like it's a whole gamut of emotions that she's going through, and then she clicks her fingers and her cigarette gets lit, and she's like,
"Ooh, yes,
fuck."
Yep. She's like Laura in those pages, from the death to her lighting the cigarette. She is us. We're going through that with her, and you can see the Morgans, and Annie is like. Remorse isn't the right word, but like the acceptance of like there's nothing I can do, and then you can see the conviction from Anyanka of being like I needed to do this, like this had to be done.
Yeah.
And then you could just see the desperation from Laura and our feeling of like, oh man, that was the person we were rooting for, even though she was kind of a jerk. He was kind of a jerk.
Just a fucking devil.
Yeah.
We're like
the series drags you through it.
Yeah, because you're like there were good parts with a lot of bad parts, and we're rooting for her the whole time.
Now, up to that point where she extinguishes Lucy, it's never discussed or even thought about like what happens if one of these gods gets snuffed out before that 2-year cutoff and everybody goes out together. So, like in my mind, Lucy being snuffed out created the opportunity for Laura to come alive, if that makes sense.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that.
But would Laura become a god, or is it just that Lucy gave her some powers as a gift before she left? Because if
she gave her a gift, and then in the next volume she becomes a god.
So she becomes a god.
She becomes Persephone.
Yes.
And Persephone, I knew we kept you around for something.
Persephone is a huge thorn in Ananka's paw, basically.
Yes.
Which they go into further down in the line. And the rest of the trade is art and then a teaser for the next, which the Becky Cloonan cover.
I love that cover.
Becky Cloonan is one of my favorite artists, and I love the fact that she's a giant metalhead.
I love this one a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point,
I live for process pages.
We had started an Instagram called Comics and Cosmetics, and we thought it was going to take off, and we were going to do all these makeup looks from all, different comic book covers. And we actually did the why am I blanking on her name? The rainbow makeup.
Amaterasu.
Yeah. We did that, and that was the only thing we did, and then it just kind of died, and we never did it again.
Damn it.
I feel like the Morrigan is probably the best.
Yeah.
Yes. This one's actually pretty cool too.
Oh, yeah, I dig that.
I like the energy in this whole thing.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you know the series Gunning for Hits? And the character kind of is based off of Bowie too. The covers look just like that.
McKelvie's got an interesting art style. I love the storytelling that he uses. And again, him and Kieron Gillen seem to be a perfect match for storytelling versus art where they just match so well. And there's very few combinations you see these days where I think that the storytelling and the art match perfectly. Yeah, like I think they're in sync. Zdarsky, of course, and I feel Matt Fraction have that.
Wow, you can't have one without the other situation.
Simple storytelling, simple art, but when they want to be witty with the writing, it works perfectly. And when they want to be drastic with the art, they do it very well. So it's very simple, but there's those high notes that are perfect.
Yeah, we talked about Jason Aaron earlier on his Thor run with Jane Foster. The artist in him seemed to just get it. They had the same energy, and I think that really helped that series.
I think that's, you can tell when that happens. And an artist, when they are in the same page, you can see it in the work. Like you can, and sometimes it's in that Thor run, it feels like you can touch it, you know?
Yeah, again, the Lemire Black Hammer series, I feel like they just get each other. They know what they're trying to emote. Nailbiter, which I've talked about before, Henderson and Williamson just seem to understand. Jock and Scott Snyder, also another pair on Witches, which I felt they understood each other, what one another were trying to do.
You see it in Saga, like
yes,
it's the same thing. It's it's not basic in the bad way. It's simple storytelling. It's going to tell you a great story, but when the writing needs to be spiced up and like make a point, it does. And when the art needs to be over the top and a little bit more drastic, they do it well. And then it settles back down, and then it punches back up when it needs to.
I desperately wanted to do a Saga read through, but seeing how everybody all of a sudden jumped on it, I was like, okay, well, this seems too basic bitch for it. I can't do it now. But I 100% think that when the new issue comes out, we should talk about it.
Yes. But here's the thing, like,
I got this today.
Yeah, a lot. Oh, I picked that one up too. I'm gonna read it tonight, probably.
Capullo, McFarlane, Capullo, and Snyder.
Yes.
Yeah, Cates has his people that I think he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Stegman on Venom was somebody he trusted. Perez and Wolfman, also another combination that legendary. Capullo, Snyder, but yeah, Capullo, McFarlane. One of those things that wasn't talked about enough. Capullo was ghosting McFarlane for about 10 issues before McFarlane actually went and said that Capullo was ghosting him. Philip Tan, one of the greatest Jim Lee ghosts, which Jim Lee used a lot of ghosts. My friend Carl was one of his ghosts doing backgrounds and stuff where he would do all the backgrounds and Lee would do the actual character work and then overlay it. There's a couple of those guys out there that maybe unsung. My friend Carl shockingly helped create Bishop, yet got not credited on the X-Men movie. Nope, did not get it credited in the X-Men movie at all. And that kind of became a little thorn in his paw.
Aww. I mean, and it would be. I mean, with reason, that's
yeah.
I get it.
He doesn't talk about it. Like, he's just like, I was part of it. I was there, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I'd be a little pissed.
Yeah. Especially, you had nothing to show for it. Like, and people just have to take your word for it. Like, that sucks.
Yeah. Like, but he's been a ghost for a lot of people. Like, He worked with Mark Silvestri for a while, like during those early Image days. And he's one of the few.
That's pretty cool as an artist. I think ghosting another artist that you like a lot.
We talked about it briefly on the stream we did on Ronin, that he's one of the few people that saw his Batman work that never got published for Mark Silvestri. That he says actually Mark Silvestri's best work he's ever put out.
Wow, we're not gonna see it.
I've seen panels.
You should say more.
I've seen panels, but that's it. And I still to this day say if McFarlane decided to jump on a book, it would be huge. If he committed to 6 issues, it would sell. I mean, just the fact that he did one cover of Philadelphia, that book is up to $40 now, just because he did the cover.
Just because he did a cover.
That's bananas.
But he's been smart about it. You know, he now know that he's always known he's a commodity. You know, so but by doing that, all he does is that he knows where he puts his name, there's going to be a lot of money involved. You know, so now instead of having that everywhere, no, I choose where I'm going to put my name, because I know that where I put my name, it's a lot of money going to be moving around.
Okay, so this is I think all around we all like this book.
Yes.
What is a book that you would recommend? What is a book that you would recommend to people that maybe like this, that possibly they may not have heard of?
You know,
I totally forgot to come up with an answer for that.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Why am I surprised of these questions if I'm going to get asked this every time?
We've only been doing this for 2.5 years, Gambit. We started this stupid show because we couldn't read our fucking read piles.
And all we're doing is adding more books to the read pile.
We suck at this.
You're going to be mad at me in about 5 minutes.
We're going to get there.
I don't know. What, Jonathan, you got anything? What would you suggest? If someone likes this book, what's another book that they might like?
This book is so different. That's the
thing. Like, I can't compare it to anything.
So my first idea was for this creative team, go back to Young Avengers.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if you just like the creative team, I mean,
yeah, like that's one thing, because I think they kind of hit some of this stuff, not to this extreme, but definitely with gender identities and stuff, they really start tapping into it in Young Avengers.
And a younger protagonist too, Laura being like 16, 17, and then the Young Avengers, I think Kate's like 15, 16 in that book too.
They never say.
But she's like around that age.
Which, can I say, like, I loved Hawkeye on Disney Plus. I think that was my favorite of all of the Marvel series.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was really
especially with Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin.
Spoiler! I mean,
I still haven't seen Spider-Man.
What?
I haven't gotten to see it yet. Sandman Vertigo series. I can't wait till it comes out on Netflix.
I want to see that.
That trailer they released looked amazing.
I'm legit looking forward to that one. Not gonna lie to you. If I'm going to recommend something based on this book, I would recommend it not because it's similar to the book, but just because it will be a unique experience when you're reading it. And I would say like something like Sex Criminal, East of West, Tokyo Ghost, books that I feel have their
came out during that time frame.
Yes, and they all have their own uniqueness to them, you know. So that's how I would recommend something else for based on reading this one. Oh, you like that one, but you might like these other things that they're not in the same light, but you know, they're unique on its own.
The Sixth Gun.
Sixth Gun is awesome.
Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna write
Cullen
that down.
Bunn.
So like it's a Weird West, touches a lot with mythology and like voodoo magic. So it has a lot of like strangeness. Is the Weird West is like the term for it. I'm pretty sure.
Supernatural Western, even.
Yeah. And it just talks a lot about like just, if not just American, but even like Native American mythology.
Who published this?
And it's just,
Boom.
Oni Press.
Oni.
Okay. I'm looking for it.
I think it's 6 volumes.
They put out a couple of collected editions. They're like the giant editions of it, but very good.
Yes.
You guys are gonna be mad at me. When you I don't have a comparison. The only thing I can think of is like a Magic Order. A little bit has similar themes where it's like all these different personalities kind of dealing with the power in different ways.
So basically, this is hey, if you like this, you might like this. So like, we're not trying to like rabbit hole you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say Magic Order. If you can do more.
Gambit and I did like, I think our second episode was on Magic Order.
I think so.
And like, to say we loved it was understating it, especially Oliver Coipel's art, which I don't think gets appreciated enough. I love Coipel's art. And
yes, I totally agree.
Now, what do you think about Magic Order 2? I picked up the first 2 issues. I haven't read it yet, but they have Stuart Immonen.
So I love Stuart Immonen, but it's not bringing the same energy that Coipel did.
Stuart. I love his work.
And Immonen's such a good artist, and it's weird for me to say that he's not bringing the same energy, but they're 2 different artists.
Yeah.
You said they're 2 different artists, but I can see how Stuart would be, chosen as the one for a sequel.
Millar's got his go-to guys, like 100%.
Yeah. And they've done other things together. I think they did that. What was it? Something Queen something. I forgot the name. Jesus. And I call myself Miller.
Cordelia looked just different.
I'm gonna have to open it up tonight because I haven't even like compared the 2 yet. Once again, my pile's just like this right now.
So I've got 280 on my iPad right now.
My New Year's resolution is to read every comic in my collection by the end of the year. But then I buy like 10 to 20 comics a week.
Apparently, I have 3 weeks to catch up before this fucking X-Men episode. God,
yeah, you better get started. Well, do you want to hear my pick?
Yes, sorry.
So, don't be mad. I know she a thick girl. Mad. She dummy thick.
That's a big boy.
But it's not very wordy, so it goes fast. We have talked about Black Hole a little bit here and there. This is what got me started on comics when I was an undergrad in art school. Charles Burns, love it. I think you guys are going to like it a lot.
This is so much different than what you originally told me you were going to pick.
Yeah, well, I found out that I wasn't supposed to tell you what I picked, so I figured I'd throw you a curveball. But the art
Jen's going to be in love.
It's very black and white and very like saturated, and it's cool. I think
Jennifer's going to be in love.
I'm sorry it's so thick, but it's not, like, I promise you, it is not a terrible read.
So speaking of black and white, there was a book that I got called out by our guest who was supposed to be on. Terry Moore does that book Serial, and I called the art crude at one point because it's black and white, and I got fucking run to town on that.
I mean, I would say it maybe is a little crude in this book, but like in a beautiful way.
No, like for me now, as an older reader, I love the act of storytelling because I think it was Doug Mankey or was it Gleason? And there's one of the Batman and Robin issues. It might have been Gleason and someone else as the writer. It was a silent issue, but it didn't need words. And the fact that I could read it without words made it an amazing issue.
I have one silent issue, and it's a squirrel girl.
Wow. I think the issues that you're talking about was around the New 52 era. It was
when Robin died.
No. Yes, it was after around the time that Robin died. And it was on the Detective Comics. I think it was issue 16 or 17, if I'm not mistaken. And they were silent, both of them, and beautiful books. I love silent books
like
so much.
If you can emote emotion out of me without a word in it, and it ended with Bruce like hugging Alfred, and I was like, "Fuck!"
You go, oh my god!
Like there's certain things I appreciate now, and if you can tell a story without words, I think for me that is incredible. If you can emote something out of me without that,
without using words.
Yeah, it's a special type of like art, I guess. And Marvel did it in 2 or 3 different issues. It was their Enough Said they did that one year.
I remember. I remember the first silent, the first time I and I think that's the first silent issue ever. Anyways, is the Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe one with Snake Eyes. You know,
Larry Hama.
And that was the first time. And after that, I feel like every time I get 3 or 4 pages where I don't have any dialogue and I have to rely on just the art to see the story moving around. I love that. You know, that was one of the main reasons I got into comic books. It's because it's a visual medium, as long as you know, as well as the written word, you have all these little pictures, you know, to help move this story along. And that's what I like to see. And every time, oh my god, it hurts me so much when I see books that you read them and they just jump all over the place. I go like, oh, what is happening?
Okay, I'm gonna do something I'm gonna probably not appreciate later. What was your book of the year?
Who you asking, me?
Everyone.
Oh, okay. Let me think on that, on what I have read this year.
I don't know if I can answer that. That's a very on the spot.
I read.
So I'll go first.
Yes, please.
Barbalian Red Planet broke my fucking heart.
Yeah.
It was so emotional and just so beautifully laid out that it was a book that took place during the AIDS crisis. And just the gender identity issues that were going on with Barbalian. It was something that I didn't know I needed to read that I did need to read, that just went from a different place than maybe my mind was at the time, and I loved every part of it as much as it depressed me.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that one out.
I don't know if it counts for this year, because I'm not sure when exactly it came out, but Something is Killing the Children and Wind I got really into.
I think Wind was more this year.
Okay.
I've been enjoying the Thor, Donny Cates Thor a lot, and the Conan the
especially Barbarian. The Donald Blake storyline was real interesting.
Yeah, the Donald Blake one was really good. That was really good. But I don't think I have anything that this year for me. You know, I honestly haven't dedicated my time to reading as much as I want to. That's one of the many reasons I changed studios so that I have time to read, and it has been paying off. I've been reading more. So.
And one thing that happened this year was I was going back and reading old stuff that's been sitting on my trade paperback shelf and my hardcover shelf.
Yeah, that too.
Anytime I had time to read, I was reading that stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I gotta jump off, guys. But real quick.
Yeah.
Because Jen couldn't be here. Can we get a collective snap? And I'll do a screenshot and we'll send it to her. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Everybody up? 1, 2, 3.
And your book for next month is going to be Black Hole by.
Black Hole. I'm adding a whole brick to your read pile.
Another one.
I know we tried to get off in an hour and a half. It didn't happen. Thank you for staying awake that long. I appreciate
anything
it.
for you guys.
Again, I love that you're on the show now. I loved adding another voice because I never wanted to be a boys' party.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted another voice on it, and you were the first person that, like, I literally got off. I was like, you know what? She fits. Like, and Jen forever thought we were going to kick her off the show. She's like, you're going to get tired of me. You're going to want to kick me off.
I appreciate Jen's deep knowledge base because, like, I have short-term memory problems. I don't always remember who worked on what book or what a character's name is and stuff. And Jen is, like, rock solid. Like, she knows what she is talking about all the time.
But again, I appreciate you putting up with us and joining us. And
I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad that you're here and you took my offer because, again, I was like, wow, she dealt with all that shit and stayed on for another half hour with Gambit and I just bullshitting afterwards. So.
Right.
And I brought friends.
Yes. Which Jandre used to tune into the weekly show where Jen and I talked about fucking nothing.
Something to somebody, apparently.
I like literally we would run out of stuff to talk. We talked. I was doing 30 books a week between both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I couldn't keep up with my schedule, and like my health was getting bad. I was like, you know what? Like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
That's not when you have to.
I was real lazy about my YouTube for the last month because, like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose my mind to put out a little bit of content. You know what I mean?
And I think you have to figure out that happy medium of, like, what you're okay with putting out. Because for a while, I was like, I have to hit the schedule. I have to hit the schedule.
Exactly. And that's why I've adjusted, like, a couple times. At first, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then it was Monday, Friday. And now it's, like, just Friday because I just can't dedicate the time necessary to editing and this and that and the other while I'm working.
The editing sucks. And that's why I started doing live shows.
Huh?
The editing sucks. Like, Gambit and I did a 3-hour show once. I had to edit. And it took more time to upload it than anything else.
It took 3 hours to edit that video yesterday, and it was terrible quality. But I wasn't going to spend another 3 hours trying to fix it and export it. So I was like, hey, my kids are cute. Here you go.
Like, literally, Gambit and I started this show as just that, hey, we're going to get through our read pile. And then it was like, never.
So we're gonna get through our read pile.
Gore Vidal. Carmen was pretty awesome. I'm there for it.
Carmen was interesting. It was dark.
Suicide and fart jokes and nakedness.
Yes.
Like it's everywhere.
And it was the closest to a Milo Manara series we will ever get to the US.
Now I want to go read the rest of my Carmen issues. Thanks. I have this whole just tonight read pile because you guys know.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I love you guys.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
We'll see you next month.
See you next month.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And did you have a recommendation, John?
Me? Oh, John.
Mine was, or for what? To read?
Kind of
a Sixth Gun.
Sixth Gun. Yeah, Sixth Gun. That I wrote it down because I want to read all of it now. All of it.
Really, I was between Harrow County and Sixth Gun at one point because Harrow County, it's the supernatural and everything in it. And Cullen Bunn also, which Cullen Bunn, I don't think he gets the appreciation he deserves. He's written a lot of shit in the last 10 years.
I think he did the Lobo series that nobody liked, and I actually did like that series.
sounds about right.
I picked up that series to hate it. Not going to lie, I picked it up to hate it. I'm gonna hate this first issue. I'm gonna hate it so much. I'm gonna read this thing. I was like, I actually like this thing. Damn it.
The Crush Robo, I was in that mindset of like, this is gonna suck, and I read it. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah. No, that one I knew I was going to enjoy. I knew that one I was going to enjoy that one.
Do I want Simon Bisley back doing it? Yeah, like of course.
Yeah, I mean, but he only did the first few miniseries, and then the covers. Everything else was done by someone else, and all of the other series have been done by a bunch of other artists,
So we're gonna wrap up.
Yes.
I will recommend everybody to go ahead and pick up Matt Wagner's Grendel.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
There is an omnibus coming out, being reprinted, The Hunter Rose. It's coming out in June, I think, but it's out there on Amazon already to pre-order. Of course, the old ones are available on Amazon for their Kindle Unlimited Comixology.
Sweet.
On next month, well, I guess we're in January already, so of course we have Charles Burns' Black Hole coming up for the end of the month. I will be on John's Comics with Kids talking about X-Men, where it's going, what happened after Ten of Swords. I have a lot of catch-up reading to do. For my birthday, we are doing on Celluloid and Scotch, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
It is a favorite movie of mine, and Kurt Russell is just amazingly stupid in the movie.
Yes. I haven't seen that in a while.
What do you get coming up?
Well, I don't have much coming on right now. My convention was postponed, so now I have to reinvent myself. So I have some available time this month, so I'll be available for commissions. So if anyone's interested, if you say that you heard this message, I'll give you a 20% discount. You email me first and say, hey, you said on the show that you were going to give me a 20% discount if I order a commission, and I'll give you a 20% discount. So, haha. I have that, and as a reminder, now I'm a CGC certified artist or dealer, or what? Forgot the name.
And of course, extra money for those.
But of course, yeah, you have to pay for that service. But yeah, so now I can send my books to be graded when I do the art on it, and I already got some Thor issues with my art signed by Jason Aaron and my art on it, and they look super nice. So don't miss out. I'm gonna be famous one day, and you're gonna miss out.
Jandre, I know you're always showing off your finds and grails on your Instagram.
Yep, that's mostly what I do. A little bit of my exercise stuff, but mostly it's just me showing off part of my collection.
That's
I try
cool.
to post every day, a couple DC or a Marvel, or sometimes both, and then an indie book.
And are there any grails you're hunting for that people might be able to find you if they need to unload?
Star Wars Heir to the Empire 1. Something I've been looking for probably the last year.
Which is a weird book, because you could either find it at $1 pin, or you could find it for way too much.
Yep.
So Tales of the Jedi all of a sudden starts shooting up because someone at Lucas Studios accidentally posted a picture with it.
Oh my God!
People jumped up to $300 over the weekend.
I legit can't with this speculation.
Star Wars books are always
key collector.
Yeah, well, it's the Disney Plus shows, like anything with Boba Fett's face on it now has.
So Freedom Ad, Eula Keldroma have all of a sudden become hot. YouTube videos are being made about them now.
Our hobby is very interesting.
It is. It's
I'll
annoying.
let you guys vamp for a little bit. I'll be back.
It's a little bit annoying. Lately. I'm in this app, right? And they're adapting the key collector thing to the app, right? And trying to identify what issues are key issues and stuff like that. And some of the things that are registered are keys, I think it's ridiculous, like the first time Venom was drawn with depicted with drool and his tongue out. It's like, wow, like for real. And even worse, appearance by Daredevil That's it. That's what makes that issue a key collector. That the devil was in that issue.
Yep. It's something that I love about the hobby, where you can get really specific if you want to, but I don't think everything needs to be super specific.
That's unnecessary, That's unnecessary. But
I've always felt first appearances, yes, deaths, yes, but now the first appearance versus second appearance, like Hulk 180 versus 181.
Yeah, but that is a problem.
Oh, yeah, it's
problem because the 180 is the official. By Marvel said it's 180 is the official first appearance. It's a full page with 3 balloons of dialogue. That's not a cameo. Come on. But someone got a lot of money out of the 181 at some point, and
yeah, like Morbius has been fighting with this shit forever, and Morbius says comic relief show. Go check it out because he goes off on Key Collector constantly.
And there's nothing wrong if you is that what you're into, just collecting these specific issues, There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that now these days they want to make everything a key issue. And I think that dilutes the importance of a key issue, of a real key issue in a collection, It's
the collecting to flip versus collecting to just have.
Yeah, there's a lot of collectors that right now is to flip them, There's a lot of that right now. I can't blame them. That's where the money is moving. Why not be part of it, But there's some people that are approaching it. I feel the wrong way, and the wrong way is giving a key reason to every single issue out there,
And I have a question: is there a book that you buy to possibly flip in the future?
Me?
Everyone here in the panel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. The whole reason I want to complete my whole run of Uncanny X-Men is to be able to sell the whole thing at some point in the future. Otherwise, if I don't sell it, my kid is going to sell it. But no, for real, that's the whole point of it. It's not to be stuck in a box there forever and be passed down to generation and never nobody take advantage of it. There's gonna be someone down the line that's gonna be like, I need money, and that shit's worth a lot of money. Sell that shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, and if I could get my hands on a first Uncanny X-Men or an X-Men 94 or any of those books
Giant
that or any of those books, that's my holy grail right now. Giant Size X-Men and X-Men 94. Those are my 2 holy grails. But if there's a chance I can get my hands on some books, shit, if someone offers me enough money for that signed first Lobo first appearance of Lobo 9.8, if someone says here's this good amount of money for it, I will deliver that shit in person.
I've bought in the past things that I'm like, all right, I have a copy of Kanan #1 Star Wars character, and #6 is like a bunch of the Rebels characters' first appearances, and I had an issue. I saw one for a good price. I bought it also, and now it's slowly going up in price because there's going to be an Ahsoka series, and one of the characters from that show is going to be on that series. So I have 2 copies. Eventually, I'm going to sell one of them, but I didn't specifically go out to do that. I just stumbled upon a good price. Yeah. Same thing with my Star Wars #1. I had one, and then I was like, all right, I found one that's a little bit better than my copy, so I'm going to buy the other one, and then I'll sell on the other one I have. And I do that mostly. I don't like search out books that I'm like, oh, I'm going to flip this all the time. But if like I stumble across a good deal, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Oh, no, of course. Why not,
I'm kind of a hoarder. Wolverine #1, the Frank Miller Claremont series that I think is undervalued. I pick them up all day, $5 a piece.
Is that the 4-issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
I pick them up all day.
I have 2 #1s, and then I have one each of 2, 3, and 4.
They're undervalued, and I think at some point they're going to get overvalued. I'll pick them up all day. There are some books that maybe just a little too overvalued, but Rom #1 is one that I'm sitting on a lot of, thinking at some point it's going to become a thing.
Well, James Gunn just said that Marvel doesn't own the rights, so he's never going to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
So there goes that.
It is something that not Marvel, but they've talked about
bringing the
with
character.
this whole Hasbro movie universe, because I guess Hasbro owns the rights.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think so.
And they have a specific deal with IDW with Transformers and all that shit. But whatever, like Frank Miller did the cover for issue 1, so I own.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
I own a lot of copies of it.
But see, you're also a Frank Miller fan, so you're like,
yes,
this is a number one that you think will grow in value. Plus, it's an artist and writer that you enjoy. So, like, there's that mixture of both where it's not just for the money.
Yeah, Frank Miller is someone I invested way too much money in because I had that whole Daredevil run at one point.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I have issues like that I happen to find it at a reasonable price. I get it, I buy it. I have 3 copies of Lobo first appearance and the first issue of the first miniseries. I have like 6 copies of the first issue, And X-Men #1, I had like 5 issues of each X-Men #1. The 1991
the
one,
Jim Lee.
Jim Lee one.
Oh, all 5 covers?
All 5 covers. No, 5 covers. 4 regular covers and the deluxe cover that had all of them into one.
Yeah.
And then I have an oversized version of the book too, because I have 2 oversized versions of that book because
So it seems like follow who you want to follow. Like, I don't think there's any wrong way of collecting.
No, there's not. There's legit not. It's just that, like, I think it was Gore who said it, that some flippers have convinced people that if it's attached to a movie, no matter how mundane that first appearance is, it's going to be valuable. And the thing is that it creates a false, what's the word? People expect something of this, thinking that
it's fool's gold.
Yes, it's like when you retouch a tattoo picture to make that tattoo look way better than it actually is. People forgot the word for that. When you're expecting something that it's not, whatever, it creates this false illusion that because it's a first appearance is gonna be, and then you're gonna find these people that are getting into comics now that don't know much about comic books or how it works or how many people are out there that take advantage of people like that and be like, oh, it's a first appearance, so I'm going to buy it. The dude in the store in that table in that corner told me that it was going to be worth a lot of money because there's a rumor that this character might show up in an episode of Hawkeye one day. There's a rumor that Mephisto is going to be involved in this movie. Let's go crazy with Mephisto. And suddenly Mephisto is nowhere to be found,
Cloak and Dagger is probably where I would invest my money now.
Because they had a show, right?
They did, but it didn't do well, and it wasn't really in the Marvel universe. But I still think that at some point there's a good version that can come out of it.
Probably.
Yeah. Like, I have a couple of Cloak and Daggers because that would be a good example. I thought that show was going to do well, so I bought stuff beforehand before it exploded, but not for reselling, just so I was like, I don't want to
not be able to get it later. Yep.
Exactly.
That's why this past year I was like, I need to get as many of the Uncanny X-Men books that I need in my collection now before they finally show up in a movie, in a good movie, and people go ballistics over Uncanny X-Men, and then I'm stuck in not be able to find books that are not supposed to be hundreds of dollars, having to pay ridiculous amount of price.
Well, that's where Avengers Annual 10, I think, is still the most underrated, undervalued book.
The Rogue?
Yes, because if Rogue ends up in Captain Marvel, that book's gonna go insane.
Yeah, I have 2 copies of that one. One because I found it in better condition than the one that I already had. So I said, okay, so I'm gonna buy this one, and then get rid of the other one at some point.
If she shows up at the end of Captain Marvel 2,
that's a rumor.
It's been a rumor for a while, but
That's a problem.
And she has that connection to with Captain Marvel with the whole stealing of the powers thing, and I think that they're going to try to depower Carol in the next movie. She's just too powerful,
need to, especially with their introducing Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so I think they're going to depower her a little bit by having Rogue steal,
nerve her a little bit, and then get her down a little bit from that overpower. Wow.
And if Rogue shows up in it, like, then X-Men's coming, and that's going to even make it even
that right there will lift up the X-Men book market. Her appearing in Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Which also I've already heard rumors that the after credits of Doctor Strange is going to have the Illuminati.
Oh no! Wait, somebody sent me a picture of Ruff. I can't say more. Because it'll be obvious. It'll be obvious where I got it from. But there's this Xavier scene of apparent allegedly
McAvoy.
Allegedly, there's and somebody sent me an animatic, but I take that from the person that it comes from. I take it not as face value, as legit information. He's never, every time he says something to me about something, because he knows some people, every time he tells me something, it always happens. It's like that, So he sent me these things, so chances are that he's actually sending me a legit official, animatic shot with Professor Xavier.
Yes, I've heard Black Bolt, Professor Xavier, and a couple other names in there. And
yeah.
It's going to show up in the post-credit of Doctor Strange.
I heard of a Ghost Rider too. Ghost Rider.
I keep hearing Norman Reedus is the Ghost Rider.
No. Apparently it's gonna be the other Ghost Rider that we had. So
not Nick Cage, no.
So because remember, this is a multiverse thing. So let's see. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I hope not.
My hair's on fire.
I hope not. Honestly, I love those Ghost Rider movies, but. Let's move on. Give me something new. You can give me something new at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with either Professor X showing up. Patrick Stewart would be fine by me. McAvoy would be fine by me.
I wouldn't mind any of those. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Yeah, it's time. It's almost 2.5 hours.
And I have to
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this excursion. Jandre, thank you for popping in late.
For having
I appreciate it. Hope we weren't too much of a pain in the ass for you to follow.
No, it was great. I loved it.
And join us next month for Charles Burns' Black Hole.
Yes.
Going to be entertaining, to say the least. It is a very deep indie graphic novel.
Yeah, I've never.
And I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Happy New Year.